Welcome to another edition of the Steer the Line podcast, where our goal is to make you a better. That's what we're going to do. And one of the things that figures in a lot into how NFL teams perform, and when I say perform, I'm talking from the direction of a betting man because, well, I am. Teams add new players every year, and it's very exciting through free agency what they do, and especially seeing what they do through the draft. Who are the rookies that are going to come out of somewhere or nowhere and have a real impact on the games is what we're going to talk about today with our fantasy football expert, Jeremy. How are you, man?
Doing good, Loud. Just getting ready for the season and looking forward to that, finding out who we play and when as we're getting close to
coming up soon.
Schedule release. Yes.
You know, the NFL is making everything into a party, which is really interesting. Everything's a show. Rocky, how you doing, my man?
Good, my friend. How you doing, Lou? Great to be joining you again today.
Well, I'm feeling very loud today. Feeling very loud. So good to have you on the program. Christian.
Hi.
You ready with some rooks?
Yeah, I'm ready with some rooks, man. You got me all jattered up. Let's go.
All right. I'm going to start with my number one impact rookie. He's a receiver. I watched him wreck games last year for Ohio State. I considered Chris Olave to be the most NFL-ready receiver in college football last year. He's a very precise and smooth route runner, good hands, strong after the catch. He doesn't have that elite speed that some of the other folks that went in the draft did, but he's shifty. He's elusive. He does get some good yards after the catch. I love the yak. And he goes to the New Orleans Saints, who had a down year on offense. They only scored an average of about 21 points per game, mostly due to the injuries to Michael Thomas and, of course, starting quarterback Jameis Winston. With Thomas coming back, Alvin Kamara in the backfield and running out, catching passions, they have that speedster Chris Smith. I think Olave is going to be set up to basically be the receiver that doesn't get a lot of attention, especially at the beginning of the season until they see what he can do. I think teams are going to be prepared mostly to stop Thomas and Kamara, and I think that's going to set Olave up to have a lot of impact. The Saints coach said having Chris Olave and Michael Thomas both come back as their starting receivers, it's like they had 2 first-round draft picks. Those guys are already working out together. They're both Ohio State products. I look for big things. Jeremy.
There we go. Keep taking myself off on mute. I like the Olave pick in New Orleans. I think he's going to add a really nice weapon. We've seen 2 different sides from the quarterback. We've seen the year he put up 5,000 yards, and then last year he had a bunch of games where he had like 150 yards passing. I think with the receiving talent he has, it's going to open things up for him, and I think Winston's going to be able to air it out, especially with both Thomas and Olave there on the outside.
Well, I'm focusing on wide receivers. You're focusing on running backs. Give us a running back that's going to have some impact on the games and maybe flip some games from losses to wins, or at least keep the spread closer.
Yeah. There were 3 guys drafted in the second round that I think are all going to have really big impacts going into the season. And the first one would be the first one picked, Breece Hall, went to the New York Jets in round 2 at pick 36. A guy with great balance and outstanding top end speed and a great pass catcher. He's got really reliable hands out of the backfield, tough to tackle, and has some skill at pass blocking. And that part of his game is going to be important. He's got a young quarterback who's going to need him to do some pass blocking, catch some passes out of the backfield. He is going to split some time with Michael Carter, but I really like Breece Hall in that offense. And I think he's good for, I think this team's going to be good for another, 3.5 wins this season with some of the things they did in the offseason.
And I think 3 to 5 points more in offensive output per game is about something you could look for there with how that offense has improved in the offseason and through the draft. Well, that's 2. We're going up to 10 of the top impact rookies that are going to impact games and point spreads. Rocky, who you got?
Listen, I have a couple, but the first one, not my favorite. I want to bring out first. The most obvious one was Aiden Hutchinson. This was the guy that I had picked to go first overall in the draft. I was very surprised that he went second to the Detroit Lions, but the Jaguars had the first pick, and it figures they would use that pick to poke themselves in the eye with. They went and got a guy from the championship team. Aiden Hutchinson is absolutely the best pass rusher out of this draft. He is absolutely the best pass rusher out of this draft. Defensive end. He's an enormous guy. He's a big guy, super fast. He's an immediate impact player. Now, not every rookie is going to come and start. This guy will start. He will be a starting edge rusher for the defensive end for the Detroit Lions this year. He will make a huge difference. They will get sacks. I'm not sure what their stats were, but I know if I asked Christian, I'd get him a little later in the show. But I don't know how many sacks they got, but I promise you, this guy's worth another 4 or 5 sacks a year.
Well,
Easy.
the way I look at an impact defensive player in terms of betting is, will he stop drives?
Absolutely.
Because if you stop drives on third down, it's a double win. They can't score and your team gets the ball back. And that'll flip points, and that may turn a couple losses potentially into wins. It certainly will help keep the point spread closer if you can stop drives on third down with your pass rush.
This guy is going to help out.
All right, Christian, who you got?
I got Charles Cross, but before I say that, Detroit had 36 sacks last season.
All right, boy.
Good to know.
Got to bring the numbers out. Charles Cross.
They were 42 or more this year. You'll see.
All right. I got Charles Cross, the left tackle from Mississippi State. Seattle took him with the 9th pick. He's a big guy. He stands at 6'5" at 310. And he was ranked the second best tackle in the draft. I think he would be an immediate impact on Seattle's offensive line, which was ranked 31st in pressure percentage and sack rate. They're overall ranked the 25th best offensive line in football, so they need immediate improvement. He's great in zone scheme blocking, and that's exactly what Seattle runs. Mike Leach, Charles Cross, former coach at Mississippi State, runs a very similar offense as Seattle does. So I believe he will fit right into their system. And he's NFL-ready size, but he reads the defense just like a quarterback. And he matches up with some of the best defensive ends in the game at the college level. So there's no doubt in my mind that he will be a good NFL tackle. And he's going to be mentored by Dwayne Brown, who's a Pro Bowler in Seattle's system. And he's been there for about 6 or 7 years.
Look, I think he's an absolutely solid pick. Seattle needed help on the offensive line. The thing that concerns me as to whether or not he's going to have an impact is what they've got at quarterback, and currently it's not much. Geno Smith or Drew Lock, I don't know if I want to count on either of those guys at quarterback. Thanks, Christian. That's 4 of the 10 top impact rookies in terms of what's their impact going to be on games and on the spread and on the win-loss numbers. I'm going to a receiver I did not know a lot about before the draft because, frankly, USC and the Pac-12 is irrelevant in college football now. So I didn't watch a lot of USC football last year. But Drake London is a receiver that a lot of people were raving about. I can see him having an immediate impact and Atlanta's offense really picking things up because of a combination of factors that favor him. First of all, Atlanta was one of the worst offenses in the league last year. They scored 18.4 points a game, 26th in the league. It would be hard to be much worse. They have a great weapon in Kyle Pitts, who came in as a rookie last year, that monster tight end from Florida. But it takes tight ends a year or two to really get going. And you've also got to have a quarterback who likes to throw to your tight ends. He's got that now in Marcus Mariota. Mariota threw to the tight ends a lot when he was starting for the Titans. And then you look at who you're adding Drake London to. You have the receivers in Atlanta are London at 6'4", 213 pounds. He's the small one. You have Tate at 6'5", 228, who they picked up from Cincinnati. And Pitts, the tight end, when he's on the field, and he's on the field 80% of the time, He's 6'6", 246. The average cornerback in the NFL is 5'9". 5'9" and less than 200 pounds. That is going to be a difficult matchup for a lot of NFL teams. Jeremy, how are you covering three potent wide receivers who are all 6'4" or taller? And I bet you London is more like 240 pounds when he reports to camp.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to probably double some of these guys, and you have to go out and find that rare 6'3" to 6'5" corner. You know, if you have one, you know, you're going to need them. You're going to have to put them on these guys. I mean, that is a very tall roster of pass catchers, kind of guys that can probably go up for those 50-50 balls. And you're going to see a lot of those, I think, with Mariota, just kind of throwing it up there to these guys and hoping they can come down with it.
Look, I think teams looking at Atlanta, they're going to be worried about Pitts the most in the red zone. So he's going to get a lot of attention. And then you're going to go try to protect yourself from the experienced receiver in the guy that they traded for from Cincinnati, which is going to leave London on the third corner. That's a tough matchup, man. Just saying. So I expect him and the Atlanta offense to really take off. Jeremy, you got another running back for us here in the top 10 impact rookies.
Yeah, and we're going to circle back around to a team we talked about just a couple minutes ago, the Seattle Seahawks. They went with that offensive lineman, and I think that's going to be a big help to their running game as well. They, in the second round, picked up Ken Walker out of Michigan State. A lot of people thought that it was kind of an unnecessary pick, maybe. They have Chris Carson there coming off an injury, but they really don't know what he's going to be like this season, if he's going to be able to play much at all. They've also got Rashad Penny on the roster, but this is a guy who is really sudden with really quick feet and very explosive through the hole. Again, top end speed is outstanding. If he gets into the clear, he's gone. You're not going to catch this kid. Tough runner, great finishing power, great balance. Not as great as a receiver out of the backfield, and not as skilled in pass protection, but that'll come with time. And I think Ken Walker is going to really add a nice pairing with Rashad Penny. I think it's going to be those two most of the season, splitting carries, but Walker's going to get more carries at the end of the season than Rashad. And, with an improved offensive line, hopefully, he might be good for another win or two for the Seahawks with that kind of running game. Because, looking at their quarterbacks, I think they're going to have to rely on that running game a bit.
And Pete Carroll wants to run the ball. Rocky, your next impact rookie.
Really quickly, I get live messages from some of my friends. They want to know how bad Seattle's going to be with Drew Lock. I would want to say, if Drew Lock had been in this draft, he would have went first overall. He's not that bad. They're not going to do any better than they did with Russell Wilson, but they're not going to do that much worse. They're going to be fine right where they were. Listen, my second impact rookie coming out of this draft is Logan Bruce. Absolutely my favorite rookie. This guy, I had him going second after Aiden Hutchinson. I thought Evan Neal, Logan Bruce would have went second and third after Aiden Hutchinson. I remember all the gushing I did about Aiden Hutchinson a minute ago. There is easy to find video of Logan Bruce driving him into the dirt. Now, what I was hearing from Hollywood Hills on draft night wasn't from Brian Hill, the scout. They weren't happy with the pick. They weren't pleased with the pick. They were actually considering, Lou, trading up into the top 100 to get this guy. Remember, they were at 104. They had 104th pick. They were considering trading up, and they were just had to wait it out, and they were so elated when Logan Bruce was still on the board at 104. Brian Hill jumped into the pool. So Bruce gets a pool party. He deserves it. This guy's going to be and by the way, he plays left or right, guard, tackle, doesn't matter. Sean McVay wanted him. This is the guy they wanted. This is the guy they got. He's going to give him the keys. This guy will start. Now, I'm sure, remember, Havenstein and the other guy, the other guard, both from Wisconsin. They're going to mentor him. They're going to take him under their wing. This guy's going to be great. He's another guard from Wisconsin, and he's playing with the Rams with two other Pro Bowlers from Wisconsin. He's going to do fine. He will start, and he will be one of the best offensive linemen for the next 10 years. I promise you.
All right, we're reaching towards the end of our list of top 10 impact, easy for me to say, top 10 impact rookies in the NFL this year. Christian, who you got?
I got Jacoby Durant. He was taken in the 4th round with the 37th pick, and he's a DB out of South Carolina State. The Rams took him, and he's an immediate replacement for Darius Williams. Excuse me. His defensive game is very similar to Darius Williams, actually. They're around the same size. They both stand at 5'9", 180 pounds, 175 pounds.
That's your average corner in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, still in Atlanta.
Actually, that's undersized by just a little bit, but he will be on the opposite side of the field with Jalen Ramsey, so he's immediately going to get safety help. He's not going to be relied to have one-on-one matchups throughout the whole game, and he's going to, probably have more interceptions now than he will in college because he's going to have the defense set up mostly around him because Jalen Ramsey's taking all the one-on-one matchups. And he's had 3 career interceptions in college, so I think he'll be an immediate impact for the Rams.
Overall, you think his addition to the defense is going to make it so that the Rams stop more drives, stifle more teams, and therefore expand the point spread and the win totals?
It's going to be hard to get a first down on the Rams with Bobby Wagner stopping the run, and then you have Jacoby Durant and Jalen Ramsey in the backfield.
Yep. Going to be
Third and long is not going to be fun in LA, baby.
No, it's going to be one of the tougher defenses, I think, in the NFL to face. All right, my final entrant into the top 10 impact rookies on the spread and on wins and losses is picked up by the Tennessee Titans. I mean, the Titans, despite losing Derrick Henry at running back for a large part of the season, and some really unfortunate play by their quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, would have advanced well into the playoffs. And the team, as much as you could tell, the coach, Mike Vrabel, was not happy about it in the draft room draft night, traded Hollywood Brown, A.J. Brown, over to the Eagles, and the pick that they got allowed them to not only add Robert Woods, a very strong receiver from the Rams. Christian, your opinion on Robert Woods?
Robert Woods is a great receiver. He was the number 1 option in LA until Cooper Kupp had his breakout season. He's an immediate deep threat receiver. He has a great wide radius. He will get you a touchdown, and he's amazing in the red zone. So Tennessee got themselves a really good receiver. And
then Treylon Burks is who they picked up with the pick that they got from the Philadelphia Eagles. Good size receiver, 6'+", 225 pounds. He was incredibly strong at the combine. Didn't score all that well in all the other places, but he played on not a great team in the SEC, and he still got over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns that final season. He could very quickly be the number 1 receiver for the Tennessee Titans. He could push Robert Woods for that position. That's how good I believe he is. And he, in combination with Robert Woods, is an immediate upgrade over Julio Jones, who they simply let go at the end of this last year, and the receiver who they had, A.J. Brown. Brown's mostly a speedster, in my opinion. I don't consider him a great runner of routes. And then Julio Jones had nothing left. So they were really weak at receiver last year. I think they vastly improved. Both of these guys could be a number 1 receiver on any team. And I think Robert Woods is going to draw most of the attention. I think Treylon Burks is going to have a pretty immediate impact for the Tennessee Titans, and they're going to score more points because of it. Jeremy, wrap us up with the number 10 impact player. We're just listing him as 10th, not saying we in any particular order, but you've got another running back you want to talk about to take us out.
Yeah, the third running back taken in the second round is the pick from the Buffalo Bills, James Cook, brother of Dalvin Cook, picked in round 2 out of Florida State. This is, I think, probably my personal favorite. The Buffalo Bills are one of those teams. This is a rich get richer kind of scenario. I felt for a couple of years that the one thing they needed to really put them over the top was a better running game. And I think James Cook steps in there as the best running back on this team from the get-go. He's really great as a route runner and catching out of the backfield. That's where he's going to make his biggest impact. But I think over time, they're going to start to discover that this kid is really patient between the tackles, great speed to make defenders miss in tight spaces, and the quickness to explode through the hole. And once they figure that out, I think he's going to end up taking over the lead role in the backfield there in Buffalo. I think he's going to have a spectacular season. I think most of his damage is going to be coming out of the backfield, but he's just a great weapon that is going to put Buffalo, I think, over the top and make them damn near unbeatable throughout this season.
Buffalo is going to be very tough. And that's the one thing that last year I kept saying is their running game is predicated on their quarterback running the ball. And that's not going to be the case anymore. They're going to have a legitimate running back threat. They're improved in a lot of places. Who's that guy that they got from the Rams, the defensive end? Oh, his name is escaping me. Anyway.
Yeah. Paid him a couple bucks.
Just saying. All right. Those are our top 10 impact rookies here on Steer the Line. So, folks, we talk about sports betting on the show and a couple things to keep in mind. Only do sports betting legally. Please do not get in illegal sports betting. Only bad things can happen when you're not doing it with a legal establishment. Also, don't bet money you can't afford to lose. Most people lose at this game a lot more often than they win. That's why we try to give you a little bit of an edge and sort of level the playing field to make you a better here on Steer the Line. By the way, Jeremy, don't we want people to subscribe to our channel?
Yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment and all that good stuff. And we will be coming around with videos on the fairly regular basis here soon.
Yeah.
And hopefully starting to go live a little bit before the NFL season, and you'll get all your information that you need to make your picks and follow the NFL. And we'll get some fantasy football advice from Jeremy every now and then as well, and get it into the mix. And of course, Rocky and Christian will be joining us all season long here on Steer the Line.